A very good morning to everybody, and thank you so much for joining us for this arrival press conference with Proteas coach Mark Boucher and Proteas captain Themba Bavuma. The way that we'll go about today's press conference is that we'll start with questions for Mark, and then we'll move on to questions for Themba. Thereafter, Mark will be able to log off at the end of his section. And then we'll continue on with Themba. As usual, the housekeeping rules remain the same. Everyone, please indicate your request to ask a question on the chat panel and keep your monitors muted while you are not asking a question. Who would like to go first? I think we'll just get started. Also, just a reminder that all questions for vernacular languages, particularly with Themba, will be asked at the end of the press conference. Nathan?
Thank you, Sips. Coach, a decent effort by the team. As the head coach and having to live the moment with the side, what would you say were the highs and lows of this tournament for yourself personally?
Yeah, can everyone hear me? I hope. Sips, everyone hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, perfectly.
Okay. Yeah, look, obviously the low was not getting further in the competition, which would have been nice for this group of guys. The highs, I mean, just the way that the guys are around each other. There's a lot of good team spirit that the guys have put together at the moment. I think that comes through with regards to the way we play and pressurise situations. Having lost our first game against Australia, we always knew that we were going to be under pressure to have to win every other game. So every game that we played, albeit a couple of times that we sort of needed to win the game, we won it. And that, I think, is something that we've probably been accused of in recent times of losing games when we're under pressure. So I think that's going to stand us in good stead going forward. A lot of these guys have never been under that sort of pressure before in high pressurized games, and they came through with flying colours, and I think that's a massive positive for me going forward.
Up next, Stuart, Dennis, Fidos, and Lloyd.
Thanks, Sips. Hi, Mark. I was just checking this morning. The next World Cup is less than a year away. What does the team require now, either personnel-wise or mental shift, to take that next step?
Personnel-wise, I mean, we're going into different conditions, so we've got to look at the sort of makeup of the team. We sort of prepared for subcontinent conditions going into this World Cup. So, having a look at maybe only two outright seamers and playing two spinners. The next one, we might have to look at maybe an extra seamer. And there are a couple of other spots. I mean, a lot of things happen very quickly in the game of cricket. Hopefully we get one or two guys coming through our franchise system who put us under pressure to select them. I think that's only good for our system, is having a lot of competition. So we'll have to have a meeting. We're just getting over this one now. We'll have a sit down meeting and prepare for what we feel is going to be important going into the next conditions. And hopefully we find personnel to match up for that as well. So yeah, if that answers your question. Sorry, what is your second question?
No, it was sort of related. You answered the personnel side. Do you think there needed to be a mental shift as well, or are you quite satisfied with where the players are at in that regard?
No, I think we can sit down as a team, and this is where we've been going for a long period of time now. It's just challenging guys to think differently. And be smart. And I thought, we found a sort of way to win games of cricket in these conditions. So we'll have a look and see what sort of mental shift we need to have for Australia as well. I think that's important. And then we'll start to gradually try and incorporate that into the way that we go about things and the way that we play. So yeah, the mental shift for me is just about being smart in different conditions. And that is one thing that we have done really well. And the guys have been challenged in different ways to upskill their games, and no doubt we'll keep challenging them for the next set of conditions that we get as well.
Dennis?
How's it, Mark? Just with regards to the personnel, possible personnel changes or guys that you'd like to bring in, I just have a question about two guys. Could there be renewed discussions with Faf for maybe getting him involved again with the eye on the T20 World Cup? I know he's still available. And the other guys, Riley Rousseau, are there any plans to get him involved again?
I certainly don't think the door's closed for anyone. To be honest, the FUF conversation was had, and unfortunately it just didn't work out. With the scheduling and all that type of stuff. Albeit it's been in tough times, in COVID times. So, bubble life and that, I understand from his perspective with families and that it has been very tough. Going forward, hopefully we can get out of bubble life as soon as possible and get back to some sort of normality with regards to touring. So I haven't sat down with the selectors and spoke about the future of FUF yet. But we'll definitely have that conversation with regards to FUF and also other players as well. With regards to the Colpack guys, we've always said that the guys need to come back into our system and do really well. And we'll judge them on how they play in our franchise system. We can't judge them on sort of what they've done abroad. There've been quite a few players who have done really well. Riley's one of them. Wayne Parnell's another one as well. So, if they are sort of going about their business in our franchise system, then there's no reason why we can't look at them and add some more depth to our Proteas squad.
Firdaus?
Hi, Bouch. I just want to ask, now that you guys are back home, obviously you've only just got back, but where does the focus shift? Sorry. Where does the focus shift to at this point? And I mean, have you been given any kind of boxes you've got to tick for this summer, or anything that you really want to achieve over the next, I guess, 4 or 5 months?
So the focus for me shifts straight to the next series, which is Netherlands. So there's obviously games that we have to win there in order to qualify. So that for me is the next sort of focus for us as a team. We can't look past a very important test series at home against India, and then obviously after that the white ball stuff as well. So we'll select the Netherlands squad and also try and fit in with a bit of rest and recovery for our test guys leading into the Indian series. A couple of our players are involved in all different formats. So they've been away, some of them from Sri Lanka straight to RPL into a World Cup. So it's bubble to bubble to bubble, which can be quite telling on them mentally and physically. So I think it's a balance of resting guys and getting them ready for probably our biggest series of the summer, which is India coming to South Africa. And resting a few players, and then obviously giving opportunities to guys, knowing that results have to go away against Netherlands. So I think the focus for me right now is first prize is the Test series against India, and then obviously Netherlands.
Lloyd and then Kanyiso.
Thanks, Subsazit, Mark. Mark, the weeks and months leading up to the tournament, there were obviously challenges for South African cricket, and personally for yourself with the SJN unfolding the way it did and your involvement in that. How challenging was that in terms of dealing with that personally and as a team, and then when you consider what happened with Quinny ahead of game 2 and overcoming that as a group? And was there ever a period, especially in those weeks before the tournament, where you kind of considered your own position within the setup and your future within the team? I mean, has this performance at the World Cup left you in a place where you feel like you have the backing of everyone involved in South African cricket, the team and the administrators, to go forward for the next 2 years?
Yeah, it's a tough question because whatever I say, people will try to write it in a different way, I suppose. To say it hasn't been tough, I would be lying. Yes, it was tough. Probably on myself as an individual and also on the team. We had the conversation. I addressed the issue with them as well. And I'd like to believe that I had the backing of them as well after the chats and the honest sort of chats that we had. With regards to going forward, look, I know that there's a lot of media who probably don't want me in this position. My agenda has always been to try and get the best out of this group of players and get South African cricket to where I believe we should be, and that's near the top again. And until anything else happens, I will continue to try and do that to the best of my ability. There's times where I might feel backed. There's times where I might feel I'm not backed. My focus is on the players. quite simple, and it will continue to be as long as I'm in this position.
Thanks.
The last three for Bouch, Kanyiso, Shafiq, and Fidos.
Good morning, Spokas. Good morning to everyone. Good morning, Mark. Just to expand a bit on Lois' question. This summer in particular, that there's India and as you rightly say, it's an all-format series. How important is it for you, just personally, to ensure that you actually get through that particular summer unscathed from a results perspective?
I think unscathed is an interesting word that you use there. We're playing against India at home. We're playing against a team that's up there with the world's best. So it's going to be, if we have a look at where we are as a test group, we are still very much growing. We're still trying to, sort of find our feet with regards to certain positions and certain, sort of guys who have just arrived in the test team. So it's going to be a good challenge and a good test for us. We did really well in the West Indies. We haven't played a test series at home for quite some time, so it'd be nice to play back in our own conditions. But once again, we're playing against a top quality team. So for me, it's not about getting unscathed. It's about going out there with an opportunity to do something special and beat India. And if we don't, we must learn the lessons and make sure that we come out as a better cricket team. So yeah, it's not about being sort of unscathed. I think it's more just about an opportunity to do something special against a very good cricket team.
Thank you.
Shafiq?
Mark, the game against Bangladesh, when you bowled them out for 73, what was discussion with the team at halftime with regards to the effects that net run rate could have on semi-final spots?
The conversation was, yes, we want to try and win the game as soon as possible. As I said after the press conference in England, first of all, you got to go and try and win the game. That's the first sort of goal, and then set yourself up to try and get the runs in a little time as possible. That unfortunately didn't happen. We lost a wicket in, I think it was the first over. Then we ended up losing 3 wickets in the power play. So we weren't really in a position to try and bash the runs off in 6 or 7 overs. I think the wicket played a part in that as well. If you have a look at the wicket that Namibia played Pakistan on, which is the game straight after us, you see 2 informed batters in Baba Azam and Rizwan, who I think in the first 2 overs they played and missed like 7 deliveries. So there was something in the wickets. And I think you've got to respect the game of cricket first to say, listen, we can get ourselves into position to try and bash it off, then we will. If not, then let's make sure we win the game. We still won the game in 12, 13 overs. Look, in hindsight, we can look at all these different things and say, maybe we should have bashed it off in 7, 8 overs, which was the idea. Were we in position to do that? No. We didn't know what the outcome of these other games was going to be. We were focused on winning games of cricket and we won them well. Unfortunately, it wasn't good enough at the end of the day.
Is it me now?
Yes, Fidos, thank you.
Thanks. But can I just ask you about your backroom stuff? Obviously, JP was just like a short-term thing. Will he be staying on, or what's going to happen there? And what is your relationship with the board now?
JP is with us and he added a lot of great value. I think we probably have to sit down with Graham and with the board and find out if there's a position available. If they're looking to continue with him. I thought he had some fantastic value along with a lot of the other backroom staff members as well. Second question, my relationship with the board. I haven't really spoken to anyone, to be honest. So yeah, I don't really know how to answer that.
We'll wrap it up with Morgan.
Thanks, Sips. Hi, Mark. Mark, with regards to the India series starting later the year, before that, there's, of course, India A versus SAA coming to Bloem for 3 unofficial tests. How important is that series regarding your plans before you welcome India?
Sorry, say it again. I broke up a bit there.
Is India A coming to South Africa to play South Africa in Bloem? How important is that for your preparations and your plans going into the series against India?
So I think, if you have a look at the schedule, as I said, we've got quite a few guys that are playing in all three formats. So we have to sort of rest a few guys going into a test series mentally, physically. A couple of guys, as I said, are picking up a few niggles. So, the sort of fringe players you'll probably find are playing against SAA. It's an opportunity for a couple of those guys to really get some good quality cricket against a good team, as I said, and put their names into the hat for test selection. You probably find that a lot of the test players that have been playing of late won't get a chance to look at that Indian A side, and India won't be able to look at our players. So I think there's enough time for us to prepare for a test series. I've added an extra game, the Proteas against, it'll be an invitational 11 on the 4th of December to the 7th of December. There is no franchise cricket in that period of time for sort of leading up to the first test match. So we added the extra game there. We'll also meet up as a team to have a mini camp before the first test. So I think there'll be enough time for our Red Bull players to sort of get prepared for that first test. So yeah, I don't know how much of an impact that Indian versus South African A will have on us as a team, but I think for individuals it will be a great opportunity to put their names in the hat.
Thanks.
Thanks very much, Mark, for joining us, and thank you everybody for your questions. You can log off and we'll move on to Timber.